you talk about you have to figure out what works for you. I remember when we started Kosher Money, which really started with your friend Zevi Wolman and your
Such a good
Rebbe,
guy.
Moshe Hauer, alav shalom. And I went down to the OU to speak to Rabbi Hauer. We did our first rabbinical episode with Rabbi Hauer. It was episode 3, but we spoke about how to know how much hishtadlus you have to put into your work versus having emunah and betachon. And he was talking about these out-of-town communities, and I made a joke. It's like, you're not going to find a Jew in Kansas. And he goes, whoa, 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 hold on, hold on. You have a nice Jewish community in Kansas, you know?
I mean, Howard loved Klal Yisrael. Howard loved Klal Yisrael more than anyone else I know. Every facet of Klal Yisrael, every dimension of Klal Yisrael, there was something he cared about passionately, profoundly. Rabbi Howard, I had this chus of being an intern in Shari Zion, and when Rabbi Howard was the Rav, and like he gave these chaburas for Ner Yisrael guys that were interested in Rabbanos. He was like my primary rabbinic mentor, I'd say, for a Ner Yisrael guy that wanted to be in the field. He said every rabbi had one speech. He says every rabbi has one speech. They just package it, they repackage it, they do it like this, they do it like that. Every rabbi has one speech. If Rabbi Howard had one speech, it was Klal Yisrael. He loved Klal Yisrael. And yeah, he loved Jews in Kansas. He loved Jews in Baltimore. He loved Jews in the tri-state area. Big loss.
Remember when we took the trip to every now and then we like arrange a trip, like a Yarchi Kala trip. We went to Baltimore to Ner Israel, and Rabbi Howard spoke to us then.
This is a great story, by the way. We brought 60 guys. This is just the story plus the Rabbi Howard part is amazing. But we took 60 guys there. So to Ner Yisrael for Yarchi Kala. Mary, you should tell him the email you told Baruch who's coming.
Yeah, so we took 60 guys. So I was just letting Baruch Newberger know like what to expect. So I said we have like Chavrei Kailol and non-Shomer Shabbos, a guy that's worth 100 million and a guy that can pay his mortgage. Okay, so we need to be like a very inclusive trip or whatever it is. But Rabbi Howard spoke to us. I remember he spoke about a story about.
He told such a great story. It stuck with me.
Picking up the paper towel from the floor, right?
It stuck with everyone. You should know this story. Rabbi Howard told. I forgot the whole hishtalshalos of the story, but basically, he told the story. The moral of the story was Achrayas was responsible. Like there are two different types of people. A person can walk past a napkin that fell on the floor and just walk past it, or you have the guy that stops to pick it up. He was saying like that's the opportunity to make a difference and to be impactful and to build and to grow and things like that. He lived it in his own life. He was a mentor to somebody. He was a mentor not only to the Rabban, he was a mentor to Zevi and he had a crew of Balabatim, his young Balabatim. He was a mentor for, and he helped make them into leaders and doing it on an international basis. When you talk about WhatsApp chats, I'm on these WhatsApp chats with other Rabbanim from out of town communities and from in-town communities. And everyone's like beside themselves. He was a rabbi's rabbi.
I went on X today and my feed is full of congressmen talking about Rabbi Hauer and his ability to, like, he cared. The reason we started Living L'Chaim Kosher Money was because Zevi got a push from Rabbi Hauer to do this. And in the beginning, we were, should we do this? And then Zevi said, hey, how much do you guys need to kick this off the ground? So I turned to my brother Yaakov and I said, I don't know, probably need like $12,000. I was like, okay, I spoke to Rabbi Hauer. Good, go, do it. And we're like, no, we don't get $12,000 anymore. It was just this push. But anytime we had an editorial question of like, okay, a guest said this, are we allowed to run it? I was like, okay, hold on, let me ask Rabbi Hauer. Hauer says
he had wisdom. Rabbi Hauer had wisdom, uncommon wisdom. I have a friend, Matt Rosenberg, great guy. So he used to say, like when we were in Shiva together, both in like a rabbinic track, he goes, you always have to ask yourself the WWRHS. What would Rabbi Hauer say? That's how he'd say it. That's really like for all my cohort of people in Ner Yisrael that were interested in this, like he was a model of how to do it. And people looked to him at how to do it. He was an inspiration.
He's one of those people, Rabbi Hauer, where he like gave missions to different people and, pushed them to do it. And it lives on within, those different channels of energy that he very clearly knew what was important to him and what was real. And, basically go and do it.
He was very Torah-ic also. Like when he would say something, like he always knew like the perfect Maimer Chazal that like captured the message so on point,
Yeah.
so on target.
Did you tell me that I think it was from him, there was a debate. If a rabbi speaks at a function, does he need to say a dvar? Like, does it need to include a
Howard
dvar
held you
Torah or
always need
not?
to say a Dvar Torah.
And he held that it always needed to have like a piece of Torah in
Right,
it.
a lot of times you see rabbis get up and speak.
More secular function or
you
whatever.
know, or
something.
whatever. Like a rabbi gets up and speaks. You know, so a lot of times the message is like vanilla, right?
Mhm.
And his other message to us always was like, when a rabbi speaks on Shabbos, it's Torah's Chaim, living l'chaim. It's how do you live with Torah? What message does the Torah have for us today in your life? You have to take the Torah and make it relevant.
He also had such a great sense of humor.
Yeah.
You know,
He's very soft, he's
Soft.
very gentle.
but then just like he had that joke, which, you know, we would ask him what we thought was a very serious question about something. And, you know, he's like, you know, look at it from this kind of, and we're like, oh, that's funny. That's interesting. I once ran over to him by a conference and said, hi, I'm Zevi Woolman. Nice to meet you. Big fan of your work. And like, you know, his comebacks, and he would just laugh and
Very relatable,
yeah.
very easy to talk
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
Very humble. He never came across like I'm the CEO of a major organization.
Right.
Never like the airs like sometimes you see people that are like interface with presidents, like senators, like what they're all about. And
Mhm.
Rabbi Hauer, he did all that, like you were just saying, but it wasn't what he was all about. He was about Klal Yisrael.
Did you see a speech on, I think, the Senate floor or some committee? You have to watch it.
Really?
Powerful. It was related to, I think, October 7th or Judaism. Oh, I think it was about the universities, when the universities were coming to attack Judaism, and his oratory skills, that when he needed to, you know, as calm as the presence he exuded, he also had this ability to shoot fire when necessary. And we just looked at it today. It was phenomenal.
Such a big loss for Klal Yisrael.
Yeah.